there, Kalimera. This is lovely Paros Island. I've been here for a couple of days. This is my second time here. So a few of you, probably very few, might remember a couple of friends of mine that I visited here the last time. That was in 2016, 6 years ago. They're a couple, Nicole and Christos. Nicole is from England. Christos is Greek, raised in Austria, and then moved back to Greece here and has lived on Paros Island for much of the past, like 40 years. They are really awesome, cool, nice people, and you will very likely be meeting them soon in this video. We are coordinating to meet up for breakfast. I spent a whole day with them yesterday, had a great time, explored a bunch of the island, but didn't film it all. So I am now walking into the main town of Paros here. I have a rental car. It was 80 euros per day, 83 bucks or so. Not cheap. It is high season. Today is August, I think 6th. Smack in the middle of the crazy busy season. As you can see, the traffic here. So I was driving down here to park in a public parking area and then got stuck in this traffic. Saw that side street with the cute little church there. Decided to drive down there and try to find a spot there, and I did. And so the car is parked there. The main town just a little ways up here. My hotel is about a kilometer back that way. Pretty much the only reasonable deal that I could find on Paros, and even that was quite expensive. But that is just the reality of high season. August is really the worst time to come to Greece. You have big crowds on all the beaches, in the restaurants, in the towns, high prices, everything is inflated, rental cars, hotels, and also it is, you know, the hottest month. Come in September, October, April, May, early June, and it will be all around better in every regard. But still, you can't complain. This is an amazing scene, beautiful day. And once you get out of the main areas, the main town, the main beach, you can find quiet places. We went to a beach yesterday that we had all to ourselves. So anyways, the main town is right here. Gonna get in there. It is the classic maze of little lanes, white buildings, restaurants, boutique shops. It is a really, really lovely town. We'll see how busy it is right now at around 11 in the morning. So this is Parikia, the main town of Paros, the port town. The ferries dock right over there. I came here from Eos 2 days ago. And here you can see a very large church. It must be more than just a church. Not exactly sure here. But I need to kind of move quickly through the town here because I just got a message from Nicole, and they have something that they can't come into Parikia for breakfast. Instead, I'm going to meet them in another town. Let's just take a quick look here. It must be a monastery. And so I need to show what I can for now. I could come back later and show a bit more. Just going to walk through the very lovely lanes here. It gets shaded. You can see all kinds of shops. It cools down. No traffic in here. And it is a true maze that you can get quite lost in. Let's see how it goes. I will try to get over to the sea and show the scene along the water. More restaurants. So, how old is that? Like, must be the 50s, it looks like. Surfing waves. There are actually waves that you can surf here, small ones. So, Christos is a windsurfer. And so Christos came here in the 80s when he was in his 20s as a adventure enthusiast and Greek heritage. Lived on the island windsurfing with his friends. Like he mentioned yesterday that they would windsurf over to Naxos, which is, I mean, you can see it from here very closely, but still, that is a long ways to go windsurfing. And speaking of wind, I will mention, I explained this in my last video, that unfortunately I killed my DJI camera that I usually film with. I took it underwater and somehow it leaked and it just fizzled out. The screen went blank and then that's it. It won't start up or anything, so a real shame. A great camera, and the camera that I film almost all of my videos with. And also I have a wind stopping device for that camera. It cuts out the bad wind noise. I can't use it on my GoPro here, so I'm filming with my GoPro 10. And when I tried to use a wind stopper, then the camera would overheat. And so, just so you understand, it is a windy island. That is why there is windsurfing here. And so it will probably be an issue in the course of today trying to film around. Here we have something very old. The fort walls, it looks like. Yeah, there we have a signed Frankish castle. Okay. And some information. Built in 1260 AD by the Venetian Duke of Naxos, with architectural building materials from ancient buildings that existed on the hill and the lower city, where the ancient town of Paros extended. In the tower is also visible a circular structure of the 5th century BC. Incredible history. So these blocks were from older structures put together to make this castle. Pretty interesting history there. We got some symbols. So there is much more to see of the town out there, but I think that I will make it a quick walk through here and then get in my car and get over to have some brunch. I am hungry and ready to meet up with those guys. And I can see the sea. One of the things that I just love about Greece is these towns. They're so cute, peaceful, especially if it's not, busy. Many of them are essentially ghost towns. You can walk through the lanes of a lot of the Greek towns, especially if it isn't high season, but even maybe so, depending on the island, and you will see almost nobody. But lots of cats generally. So here you go, a nice waterfront walkway, stretching that way, around the little bay, nice beach there. Here's where it's probably gonna get scratchy from the wind noise. Time to head back to the car and drive to Naoussa at another part of the island. And it is a really nice town as well. And this is lovely Naoussa. I'm meeting Nicole and Christos at a restaurant just down here. Lots of people having brunch and lunch. Some of the nice beaches on the island. This is where we went yesterday. It was super crowded, and so we walked along there and then did a walk to a lighthouse. I think it was right over there across the bay. Really nice scene here. I think that I showed this area in my video that I made the last time in 2016. Not as popular for lunch. You don't want to sit in this hot sun. Must be very busy in the evenings. Look at that, we got octopus hanging out to dry. So here's Nicole. So we had brunch. Christos is going back to their house to run an errand and then coming back here. And so we're walking around. And so Nicole was just saying that this used to be a mermaid. And then the artist, for some reason, turned it into a merman with a skull.
Yeah, the mermaid was so much more sensual, and it kind of, for me and for many other women, I think it made us feel like appreciated, you know? Women being mermaids. And you often refer to a mermaid as a female, right?
Yeah, you really kind of expect more when you're by the sea to see mermaids.
A beautiful naked woman with a tail.
Exactly.
So I wasn't crazy about this. For me, it's a shame that they've painted this, because the one before this was so much more beautiful.
Yeah, and more fitting, it sounds like.
Yeah, more
What is
ethereal.
that? Is that a pine cone or something?
It looks like a shell. It's a shell.
shell.
It obviously has a symbolic meaning.
Yeah, it must.
This painting.
It's so striking, just the strong
colours are
colors
beautiful,
against the
yeah.
white, but yeah. We are going to just kind of wander around Naoussa here, show a bit more of the town, and hope that the wind doesn't totally blast out our talking. So, do you want to tell a little bit about how long you've been here on Paros?
Yeah, sure. We've lived here almost a decade now. I think back in 2013, we had a feeling that the world was shifting and changing, and we wanted to leave the city. And we decided to literally go to a magical area in the world, and we looked around and we just felt that this island was the place for us to live.
It's a
And
really nice island.
yeah, we settled here, and it's already 10 years, almost 10 years now, so time
Yeah,
flies
amazing.
so fast.
But you lived in some very interesting places before here. South Africa.
Yeah, I lived in South Africa for 6 years, and I was always very attracted to the Middle East, so I lived in Lebanon and also in Palestine.
I was just there in Israel.
Yes, Israel.
But you were in Palestine proper, in Ramallah?
I was in Ramallah, yeah. Also, I went to Israel, to Tel Aviv and Yerushalayim, but for me, I was much more. I think Israel is a bit too turbulent for me in
Yeah.
these times, and I felt that I needed
Understandable.
to come to a chilled out place, you know,
Yeah.
like Greece.
Yeah, this is, an ultimate peaceful place with not a whole lot to, worry too much about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really feel separated from the troubles of the world, even of Greece. There could be protests in Athens or whatever,
That's
and
true,
that's a
yeah.
long ways away from here. So
Yeah, I think any major city right now is quite turbulent because of what's happening. So it is. I think it's a great idea if you can to live. I wanted to live somewhere in nature, somewhere. I mean, I know we're in town now, but the nature here is really beautiful. I mean, we've got trees and mountains, and I mean, we wouldn't say mountains, but hills. Let's call them.
there's
hills.
hiking that you can do.
Hiking
yeah.
hills,
yeah.
yeah. And it's just beautiful nature, and I just love it. I love being in nature.
And these villages are just so
It's like going
perfect.
back in time.
It is. I mean, I don't know when these would have been initially built, but
Yeah.
maybe 1800s.
They
or-
usually paint them every year, but they haven't
Yeah.
they haven't done that recently. But I mean, you can only imagine how old these stone walkways are.
Yeah, hundreds of years for sure. Okay, well, we'll just wander through a little bit more and then meet up with Christos.
Okay, Christos is
Very
going to
soon.
come soon. That's right. It's a labyrinth here.
So, these shirts match your dress and my shirt.
Yes, you look rather gorgeous.
Thank you. Now, is this one of your art pieces or
No,
not?
this is not
Oh,
one
this
of my
isn't.
art
Oh, okay,
pieces,
okay.
but the one that you're wearing is actually an abstract art piece that I create on clothing. So
Yeah.
I make abstract paintings. I paint them in all kinds of colours. I'm somebody that really doesn't like black. I don't tend to wear a lot of black, hardly ever. And I like colour. I love colourful things. So for me, colour is extremely important, and I put that into my paintings with all kinds of colours. And every piece is different depending on how I feel. And so I create fashionable pieces for women and for men.
And so it's your
Printed on-
paintings
yes, my
that are then photographed and then printed onto
Clothing.
Clothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Clothing, items, bags, phones, laptop covers, all these kind of things.
Yeah. And so there's going to be a link down below to our e-store,
Yes.
and we're going to go see some of the paintings, the originals,
Lovely. Yes.
in their house there. So once we meet up with Christos, then we're going to leave Naoussa here and go explore more of amazing Paros.
Yes. I love the smell of the sea and the fish. And
Yeah.
it's so nice. So all the fresh fish gets caught here by the boats, and they bring it into all the different restaurants.
So it is fresh as can be.
Yes. And then it's completely packed at night. I mean, you can't
Yeah.
even get a table here.
I bet. Yeah, this is a great spot. But for some reason, they don't do the lunch
No.
here.
No, because most people, they end up sleeping until like 12,
they don't need as many
And-
lunch restaurants,
No.
so some of them just close down.
Right,
Yeah.
and in the evening, people tend to go out much later.
Yeah.
They go out, they have dinner around 10, 11, and I don't know when they go to sleep, 4, 5. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yep, they're, you know, working their lives around the climate that they're in and the weather and the heat and all that stuff.
Exactly, the heat being very important here.
Yeah. Quite common on the Mediterranean to have your siesta.
And this is so busy in the summer as well. In the winter, it's completely empty, which of course for us, we love that because it's just, you know, then you have a real feel where it was like hundreds of years ago. You know, the island is much less inhabited. And now, of course, it's buzzing and so many people.
Yeah. But it's really only like 2 months that it's crazy.
Yes,
so,
true. This was a friend of ours. He owned this restaurant.
Okay.
And he ended up buying the next restaurant, so they've created a massive, big restaurant.
I see.
This is one of my favorite fish places.
Okay.
It's really nice. You'd like this.
Axinos.
Yeah. Aegean.
Axinos.
Yes. I wish we had a boat, Gabriel, because we could then go out and
Yeah, go find the beaches
Go
by
find some
boat.
dolphins.
Yep, dolphins. And here we got the octopus.
I have a deja vu that we've done this before.
Maybe. Did we?
We walked past here. I know exactly
In
what
the last video, you mean?
Yeah, it's so weird.
But yeah, this is such an ultimate scene right here. So nice. Yep.